Welcome back. On episode 6, today we're going to install the rear fender, gas tanks, the dash plate, and a few other things, probably the battery box and so on. So we're going to start off by looking at our back fender here. So this is a military rear fender. You can see how it doesn't have the side skirts as a civilian fender. And when I was looking at the fender, notice right off the top that there's this mount missing. So this is the mount that is on the back of the fender that goes to this part of the frame. So as the fender comes down, it just rests on here. Bolts, 2 bolts there, 1 bolt down here, 2 bolts back there at the axle plates. So I pulled out this old fender I had got this summer. It's kind of rough, but it'll still do the job. I'm thinking this is a late 40s fender. So as you can see, this one's also missing the back mounts. It's missing the whole back section. It exists. So as you can see on this fender, how this mount goes to the back and it's held on by a bolt, a specific bolt. And what that is so that when the bike's on the stand, on the rear stand, you can lift this up and pull the tire out. So when I was looking at this, you can see that mount is missing just like this. So went into my stock, I found another one, but this is, I believe, either a later one or these are homemade struts. You see the width, the difference? It still has it's a 45 because of the chain guard mount, but it's got a wider strap here than this. So this could be either a later one, an earlier one, or an aftermarket one. So my plan to use this mount kind of went out the window when it doesn't match this. So to give you another idea on how this works, so you can see how this mount is here. The bolts are on the back. This is on our 1942 Harley that we're restoring right now. And you can see the mounts here. You can see how this mount comes down, bolts onto there. And it's got the military rack. So this one would hinge up. You just take these bolts off and it hinges up. Allows you to pull the tire off. Again, look at the thin brackets, not those wide ones. What we're gonna do is just drill out those 2 rivets and remove that mount so we can use it on that fender. One of the other things I want to tell you that when you're looking at fenders, all the new stuff is really flimsy. Like, it's really thin. This is pretty thick compared to some of the ones I've seen. This is thick too. Like, it takes some muscle to move it. On the new fenders, like the new reproduction fenders, you can basically push this around. It's so thin. Okay. Harder. Harder.
Where am I going?
We're hitting that.
Yay!
Here, hit this second. Hit this one. I want to see if it. Okay, hold on.
Oh, hang out. But why?
Stuff coming through. One more good hit, Waylon. Hard. Oh, there it is. So now Waylon's going to put the dash base on. And that's 3 bolts. While he's doing that, I'll make sure I get all the hardware we need to mount the rear fender. So what I'll show you is we got that bracket off of the other fender, inside bracket also, and we just bolted it on. We'll have to put rivets on later when we go to fully restore this. So while Waylon's working on that, I'll put the fender on. And you can see how it sits on the fender, on the frame here. So one of the things too you have to remember is on these bikes that the bolt that the fender brackets go onto come from the inside of the frame out. So on the other side I had to pull the wheel off again and put the bolt on because I forgot to do that. So if you haven't seen the video, Waylon has his own 1942 Harley that we built a couple of years ago. He is 9 now, so we also picked up an old military sidecar that we will be hooking up to it after doing some work to it. It's a 1940s Gouldian sidecar. That's 4 or 45. So we'll put that on, and you'll probably be driving that around the yard in a couple of years. You like riding inside cars, Waylon? Thumbs up or anything? Or? He does.
One question.
What's that?
How do I get this thing on here?
Here, just put it on.
And everything. Like what? Like right to tight.
Right to tight. So sometimes you just have to flip the bolt over.
Where's right?
You're right.
Right here?
Yeah.
Like pointing me? Oh, come on.
So while Waylon's tightening up the handlebar pinch bolts, we're gonna go and get us a carburetor. So here's a bunch of carburetors. These Linkerts. So if we go around to the other side,
Hi.
we're gonna find an M88. We'll try and pick one that's fairly complete. That one doesn't have a bowl. I think that one's rebuilt, so we'll keep that. So here we go. M88. Three bolt carb, and then that'll go right on there. So we're going to install the carburetor now. It's nice to have some help with this one. Okay, push the carb on there, Wayne. Can you feel it going in?
Yep.
So there's three bolts on here that hold the carburetor in place. These carburetors were, these M88s were used for many years. There we go, get the carburetor in place. So, top motor mount's all tightened up. I think we can throw some gas tanks on this. Time for some gas tanks and gas and oil tank. So Waylon's side is the gas side. Hold it in there.
Oh no.
Don't worry about that. Right like that. Okay, hold it there. Okay, hold that right there. I'm throwing on the other side, the oil side. No, hold it, Waylon, because it could drop. So on a restoration, you do all your wiring prior to installing your gas tanks, and there's a certain way you have to run some of the wiring. Some of them has to be run below the top motor mount tube or top frame tube. Where's the 1/2 inch ridge?
Here's a 5 to 8 wrench.
No. Right here. So the tanks are on. We still got one more bolt to put on the bottom mount. Still trying to find the proper bolts. I got a set somewhere for the back fender mount and battery box, which is also the top mount, front mount for the crash bar, for the one-sided crash bar. So there's Waylon. He's gonna put the dash on just as a fitment here, because I wanted to show you something. So this is the difference between an original part and an aftermarket. You see how perfect it rides along this? Aftermarket dashes, there'll probably be a 1/4 inch gap there, and they just don't fit. So finding original parts is crucial to having a good restoration and easy installation. So what we have here is a seat post. So what this is this is what gives the seat the travel. So we'll have to go through this one. You can see how it's kind of, you see how the springs are kind of kicked out. So I'm not sure. I'll have to see if I have any springs or guides, you can see where on the side, you can see how it's been rubbing and they're getting like flat spots. So when you put it in here into the seat post too, it should rebound. This one's not really rebounding. What we'll do is we'll go through that and fix that up in the future. So now we got this aftermarket seat that we're going to put on. Here's a complete kit. So we're going to set this up. The studs go in here, and we'll get all this set up and installed onto the chassis. So we got the seat installed onto the seat T and then mounted on the front. So lift it up here. And this is actually one of the things you can do with these is you lift it up so you can pull the battery out, which is in this position here, or the seat post. So if you look on the seat T, there's 3 positions here. That's to move the seat forward or backwards. And in the front, it's got a slot so you can move it. So we still got to find the hardware for the pin here and lots of small hardware. So, but it's coming along. So with the seat installed, we're going to end this episode here. On the next episode, what we're going to focus on is battery box, the floorboard straps, the floorboards, the pedals, the clutch, and associated rods. In the meantime, we're going to try and find some of the missing hardware that we need, like for the back fender battery box combo. We'll take a look and see what ignition we need for this bike, and just a little bit of hardware here and there. But hope you're enjoying the series, and like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.